Okay, hello everybody in BookTube land. It's John from Toronto. I'm trying for a different kind of ambiance. As you can tell here, I'm sitting on the floor, and I got some strange cat walking around here as well. Hello, Felix. Um, so I was tagged by Joshua, but it's not his original tag. It's Hannah's original tag, and so I thought I would go ahead and do that. A little late catching up on all these things. So let me read the prompt first, and then I'll give you my answer to these. So the first one is, how has your reading developed over your lifetime? Do the kinds of books that bring you most pleasure now differ from the books you loved most earlier in your life? If you've seen big changes in your reading since you've matured, what might explain your changing interests? Okay. There's sort of a difference. Sort of like two. There's young me and older me. How's that? When I was younger, I used to like science fiction stuff, Robert Heinlein, all that kind of stuff. And if I wasn't reading that, I'd probably be reading hockey books, either novels or even biographies of players. But I don't really read either of those genres anymore. Nowadays, I'm more into books that are psychologically interesting, development of people as they learn through life, that kind of thing. So those kinds of novels really appeal to me. Second prompt is, do you find yourself choosing different kinds of books at different periods of the year? For example, do the seasons affect what you read for pleasure? Similarly, might you read very different kinds of books while on vacation? No. Call me stubborn, but I don't really, the seasons or vacations or whatever, that doesn't really interfere with my reading interests. Number 3, do specific experiences in your life ever shape what you choose to read? For example, did you read obsessively about child rearing when your kids were little, about gardening as spring is about to begin, about the experience of grief when someone you loved died, etc.? Again, I would say no. My reading interests since I've been, an adult, let's say, have remained pretty much the same. Number 4, have there been any times in your life when circumstances have limited or changed your reading in some way? Perhaps caretaking responsibilities or a big move that made it hard to find as much time to read as you'd like, or personal illness that made it harder to concentrate, or maybe just long-term travel that might have limited your book choices. How do you deal with those circumstances? How do I deal with them, Felix? First of all, yes. When I was 40, I went through a very long depression, which was not good at all. About 7 months, I believe it was, and my reading was, I just wasn't reading anything. Also, in times when school workload is pretty heavy, then I will obviously not read very much except that which I read with the students, and usually I've read those books time and time again. So it doesn't really count as new reading, does it? Okay, number 5. BookTube is full of discussions of... That's Felix again. You don't have to do that right there, Felix, please. You don't have to... Yeah, okay, go. Okay, please. Anyway, BookTube is full of discussions of reading slumps, when dedicated readers seem to lose interest for a while in books. Sometimes they just can't find a book that appeals to them. Have you ever experienced a slump? If so, how did you handle it? If not, do you have any advice to give people who are experiencing slumps? Yes, I have had reading slumps. In fact, the past 6 months or so, I've been in one. I have been able to read a couple of novels within those 6 months. Other things are just starting and then they're on my TBR list, or maybe it's a tail list, I don't know. The only advice I could give anybody going through a reading slump is what I should do more of. Just push through it. Just force yourself to read. And, usually reading make it feel better because it's a very brain active activity, right? Number 6, booktubers also talk about book hangovers, when readers are so moved by a book that they find it difficult to move on to a new book. Have you ever felt this way? Yes. Yes, again, going back to the books I teach, right? Sure, I've read them many, many times. 1984, The Life of Pi, or just Life of Pi, I should say. Others that I just, of course, leave me as soon as I start filming one of these videos. Number 7, tell us about a few books that almost always work for you. Something that might have remained a favorite throughout your life despite any changing reading tastes. Something that always seems to hit just the right spot when you need a lift. Or perhaps some lifetime book hangover where the text will always be at the back of your mind. Yeah, for me, I actually wrote down these books because, as you can see, I always have trouble remembering things whenever I'm filming a video. So I wrote down a few things here. The first 2 will be no surprise to anyone who's seen my earlier videos. The first 2 are my favorites. A Separate Piece by John Knowles and The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. The Kite Runner I just finished doing with my grade 11 class, and they seem to take to it pretty well. They didn't hate it, and that's progress in my book. Another one I haven't mentioned before, and so I thought I'd show it. You probably heard of it, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. It's a little shiny there. There we go. If you can see that, maybe like that. And I would recommend this one. It's quite interesting. A girl is murdered, and she goes to heaven, and she looks down and tries to help the people in her family deal with her loss, and also somehow tries to help the police, whoever's looking for her murderer, to find them. A really interesting concept that I really kind of got very, very creative, and I just thought it was really extremely well written. Another one I have never mentioned before, I don't think, is Anne Michael's Fugitive Pieces. And an interesting thing about this is I met Anne Michaels when she was at a school I taught at, not too far from here, high school. She was invited to speak about this novel, which was a big hit when it came out. And it was very interesting to hear her talk about the writing process and all that. Another book hangover might be, well, To Kill a Mockingbird, of course, as we know, Harper Lee, a classic, right? American classic. And going back to another one that I've shown you before, an indigenous Canadian, I think it should be, A Quality of Light by the same man who wrote Indian Horse and others, Richard Wagamese. So that's about it for this tag. Again, I don't really know who I would be able to tag with any of these, because I think they've most people that I know on here have already done these tags. I'm sort of a latecomer coming back to it, but thanks to Joshua Crebo for tagging me on this, and I realize he's tagged me on another one just more recently, and so that's why I'm kind of behind on myself here. So I will try to get to that sometime soon as well. I hope everybody is doing really well out there in booktube land. That's many different places and countries, I guess. But thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed Felix here, my little cat, big cat, whatever he is. And he's 10 years old now, and he was I got him when he was 2, and he is actually a, what do you call it, a rescue cat, right? So he's had, his first 2 years weren't that great, but I brought him in and saved him from life on the streets, I guess you could say. So anyway, I hope you got something out of that. Hopefully some good books you might want to read if you haven't already read those. And I hope to be back with you soon, and I'll be looking at some more of your videos as well. So have a great evening. Oh, by the way, here in Toronto, it snowed big time, and I didn't actually go to work today. I didn't feel well anyway, but I felt better as the day went on. But this snow can make anyone feel sick, I tell you. It's the type that it is. It's not romantic in cities, I don't think. It's better out in the country. But anyway, there you go, and have a good one. Bye-bye for now. There. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't turn this off. Okay, bye for now.